Welcome back to another edition of the Be Forever Cool podcast. My name is Rex45. Just got back from Laguna, Seca, a couple of days ago. Long, very long day of traveling, but exciting. It was pretty cool to see the championship, the way it sat this weekend. This weekend was pretty exciting because we also started our first live podcast at the race round. So the last 4 rounds will be live before Motor America starts broadcasting the event. So we're very excited for that. Shout out to Be Forever Cool and the gang for coming out and making this happen, because I couldn't have done it without you guys for sure. So very excited about that. Want to thank all the listeners, all the subscribers, all the folks that are signing up on the Patreon and becoming a member. The folks that are buying teas, really appreciate it. Some of the folks that are using the affiliate merch, whether Woodcraft, use Rexy, and get a free T-shirt if you spend over $100. So very excited that our voice is carrying to the masses, and they are using the affiliate codes and they're getting their T-shirts. So thank you for that. Also, Mark Tane. Motorsports, Pirelli tires, save 10% on race tires. He does ship as well. So if you're not in the Florida area, get some Pirelli tires, man. The best tires running right now for track days or club racing or racing outside of the U.S. If you're at the top level. So very excited for all that. We had MotoGP this past weekend. We had World Superbike this past weekend. Obviously, Motor America. So a lot of racing to cover on the show tonight. Very excited to have the gang in. I will, as I normally do, bring them in one at a time and see what's been up. TJ, man, welcome to the show. How you doing? What's good?
Yeah, I can't complain. Had a nice weekend watching all the series. So had a fun-filled weekend with just motorcycle racing. So felt good to do that. Right now, just dealing with those hazy skies in Boston from the wildfires from Canada. So, our sunshine for the past 2 days has been blocked. But, what are we going to do? Other than that, just hanging in there.
Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. Any more track days? Any more racing coming up for you?
Well, for racing, I want to say I'm trying. I'm not sure because of a lot of things came up personally. But as far as track days, I'm still helping out with the Ride Again Foundation. So that I'm still trying to continue. We're going to probably do an event end of August, so that'll give me some time. But
I just
try to get on the track soon. The racing goes until October, so maybe I can pull off the last 2 rounds of the last one.
Okay. Yeah, man. For real, I just got some race direction of the Be Forever Cool podcast is saying, you got to at least do a couple of races to be on the show. You can't be talking about racing and you ain't at the track getting it in.
Oh, man. I would be at the track, and I was there around 2. So I did a couple of track days already with Cycle Smith, and did round 2 at Loudon. So,
that's what's up. You got to get it in, man. I feel you. Reese, man, welcome to the show. What's good, man? How you doing today? I see you in the rig. Obviously, I saw you at Motor America. You guys got on the podium, so I know you're feeling good. I did text you the account number to get my percentage of that. You know what that is. What's good, man?
I can't complain. Still a little tired from this weekend. It was a long weekend. As everyone saw, the 70th anniversary colors. That takes a lot of work, swapping over colors, making sure everything is prepped and ready to go. So it was fun, but, we did take the double win. So we'll go ahead and talk about that today.
All right. I am excited to talk about it. Same thing, man. Just shooting at the track was one thing. Now doing the podcast and shooting, it's a lot of work. I think that there's no fun if you're working at the track. You're just working.
No. And it's everyone thinks everybody comes in, they see the glitz and glamour, but I'm like, I don't know what takes that goes into this. But every day leaving the hotel at 6 o'clock, be at track 6:45. It's a grind, man. It's a grind, but we do it. We love it. This is a sport we do love. So it's fun.
Yeah. One of the craziest part is playing Russian roulette with your meals because you don't know what you're gonna get.
Exactly. Yeah, you never know what you're gonna get, and you never know what time you're gonna leave out from the track. I may leave out at like 6 one day. I may not leave out till 11 o'clock at night the next. So it's Russian roulette, and that's all it is.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I'm starting to see it. So I'm feeling it. Lewis, man, welcome to the show. What's good, man? You another one that's in the road. You're starting to become like Reese, man. Come on, man. You gotta get back in the office.
Yeah, I try to get in the office, but unfortunately, this is the time of year where there's a lot of travel happening. I actually am out in the offices because we're presenting products to our big distributors throughout North America, Central America, and Latin America. So it's been a busy couple of weeks, and then in between, I didn't get the weekend off. Went up to Laguna Seca to support our riders, be at the event, obviously do the pod live, which was interesting. First time doing a live broadcast and trying to make sure that we were PG-13, palatable, didn't burn any bridges on the very first try, didn't piss anybody off. So it was interesting to say the least, but it was good. I enjoyed it. I saw how much work you put into getting everything connected, but it was a good flow. We had pretty decent amount of people that watched live, and I've been watching like the clicker of people watching it afterwards. And I always give a lot of thanks to the fans and the people that follow us because the support is there, man. I mean, there's a lot of people making content now at the track. Like just in the last like few weeks, we've seen like a lot of people kind of latch on to the making track content.
Yeah.
But a lot of them are still tied. Yeah, but a lot of them are still tied in a little too tight. And so they can't be as fluid as us. Like I'll say it fluid.
Mm-hmm.
What I really mean to say is like they can't step on as many toes, whereas we walk in there with high heels and we just step on everybody's toes, man.
Yeah. No, I agree there. I think that we're fortunate for the space, we're fortunate for the opportunity, and and like you said, there's a lot of people doing content, but I think we found our niche in it and a niche in it, and I think that we've been doing it different, and
Yep.
I think once we get more comfortable with the logistics part of it, because that's a whole different thing. It's one thing when you're sitting here comfortable and all that. There's nothing else going on. It's another thing when there's a lot going on, and it's still learning for us. So very excited, and I think the shows are only going to get better. And like you said, the fans are engaged, and the numbers are going up. And I think that's something that's been happening for a little bit, but this year it's been faster than I thought it would. So very excited, man. So
Yep.
With that, guys, let's do what we do. Let's talk about some racing. Since we were at Laguna Seca, Motor America, let's start where we are at first. Unless you were at the Jay-Z concert, one of them. What I'm saying, we're gonna be talking because we're gonna be talking motorcycle racing, because it seemed like it was Jay-Z's concert and motorcycle racing that was just showing up on my feed. So let's start with you, TJ, because you start from afar. We were there in person, and we'll dive into it. But this is around where you got Sean Dylan Kelly, JD Beats, Matthew Schultz, Bobby Fong. I think even Cam Peterson. We'll put those five guys in the top as far as the super sport class before we dive into the superbike. The superbike class before we dive into the super sport class. What you thought of the weekend? And the Yamaha colors. Let's start there.
I thought the weekend was awesome. I like watching racing at Laguna Seca. That's a track that, is on my bucket list. Eventually, hopefully I can get across on the West Coast and, do a track day there. But, watching these guys and with SDK coming in the season into this round, as the points leader, I wanted to see what was going to happen. And, going into like the practice, they were all up there, like Cam Peterson and SDK. So I thought, they'll have a good chance to, get in that number one.
Mm-hmm.
But seeing the way the Yamaha started on the race day, that boy JD Beach and that guy is hungry, what I'm saying? So like I felt like he performed very well. So I thought it was a really good race overall. I was scared when I saw the Harleys spill that oil going
Right.
down the carousel, whatever you call it, and I was like, what a terrible place to dump oil. So, but they cleaned it up pretty well, and all the races still went on pretty good. So I thought it was a pretty nice weekend.
Yeah, I agree. All the races did go on. I mean, there's a little bit of delay because of it, but it was, I think it's something that more Lewis than anyone else have talked about. Spilling oil on the track at a lot of these tracks that the baggers go to. But let's start with Reese and let qualifying happened, Reese, and Cam Peterson got pole position. You said on Saturday morning, we got something. Apparently, you knew more than we did. I just thought you meant that since we're in California, you had something for after racing. But what are your thoughts, man? After qualifying and how you boys did? I mean, obviously we saw the results, but what were you thinking? Saturday morning, go before the races started.
I mean, Cam P was fast in qualifying. I mean, but if you looked at JD's times, and when I came in onto the live podcast, I mean, you can actually look. He was actually going 1 and 2 for the first couple of times, and then he dropped down to third, but then he went back up to 1. And I think overall, he was only like maybe like 2/10 off and qualifying. He wasn't that far. He was still in the 24s, so I knew he'd be pretty quick. But just watching these guys run the times, like PJ run his times, Cam P run his times. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be and then the same thing with Matt. Like it's gonna be a shootout. Sean was very quick, but it didn't look like he had that normal pace that he has. But you would watch as anybody would say, Schultz and Cam P, like they were just quick. But I know, as Lewis would say, anybody can do a one lap wonder, and it's very fast. You got to be able to keep that same pace, that same mentality for the entire race, for the entire laps. And I was watching JD, and we actually when we were doing qualifying, I think it was time attack. We left the used tire on there to see if we can run the same times on a used tire, and he actually did.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. I know the listeners want to talk about this right here, man. These colors. Let's talk about it, man. You guys kept it close to the vest. We were prying not all season, but from the time we heard that you guys are doing the special livery, Lewis kept it close to the vest. I think this is one of the dopest rendition of a livery that Yamaha's done in a while. What are your thoughts, man?
I mean, I honestly think it is. I mean, I was part of the 60th anniversary too, 10 years ago, and it's crazy because if you actually go back, we did the same livery of yellow and white 10 years ago, the same time in Jersey this year. So in this 10 years, and we won that round as well. And now we come 10 years ago, 10 years, to today, and with new livery colors, the 70th anniversary, we take first place. So it was kind of nice. And like you said, we did keep it close to our vest. We didn't want a lot of people to know that we were going to livery color. We wanted to make a little special event for it. A lot of people love the red and white. I know it is a special color. I know a lot of people are trying to buy the R1 in stores at that livery color, but it is extremely limited. I'm fortunate enough to have one on hold that I need to pick up for Jeff gets on my case about it. But we did love it, and if you can actually see where the number plate is, normally it's black. We left it there with the carbon fiber, which made it actually stick out and pop more. And as you can see with this Bobby right here, Lewis did his thing on the leathers. So, I mean, shout out to that. And it was nice. A lot of people enjoyed it. A lot of people loved it. They wish we could run those colors all year round. Maybe it's some good luck. Maybe it's not. But now we got to make the blue, good luck as well.
Okay. Before we hear Lewis's take, TJ, man, what are your thoughts? I mean, you're racing Alpine Star. JD's on Alpine Star. And there's no secret I'm a Dainese guy. Which one you like, man? What are your thoughts of the delivery? And are we swaying you to come over to Dainese?
Look, So I could look at that Lewis's face right now. I love Diane Daisy. That suit looked really nice. Unfortunately, I do rock Alpine Star, and it was good also to see the same teammate, win with the same colors, and an Alpine Star. But I think Lewis killed it on the suit. I think it fared very well. It popped. They were talking about it a lot on the live. I mean, I know you guys was there in person, but just watching it, um, live on the app, and there was just, sweating the suit and the look of Bobby Fong and JD Beach. So yeah, I wish they could run this livery more often. I mean, obviously, they're gonna run the blue, but just surprise us at least once or twice before the
Right.
season's over.
Mhm. All right, all right. I mean, Mr. Picasso. I mean, Lewis, man. Did you stay up all night to get this done? Did you fly all the way to Japan and drank some of that good tea? What's good, man?
No. This is this is an idea. I kick this idea around every year to different riders that we're supporting, is to try to get their teams to do something different. Because one of the things that week in and week out Motor America needs is they need some sazon. Like this is flavorless cooking most of the time. It's the same stuff week after week. There's no break in the monotony. And sometimes a break in the monotony is not just good for the rider, but it's good for the team overall. Like it shakes the team up, even if it's just for a weekend. And sometimes it can even reinvigorate a team. Like this past weekend, like I saw Rich from Attack smile more times this weekend than I've seen him smile in the last 10 years.
Okay.
Like legit, like it was almost like he was enjoying the extra work, even though it was extra work because he was doing something different. Like I saw him, I think it was Friday afternoon, and he was putting the decals on the bike himself. Like he was putting the numbers on the bikes himself. Like this is the dude that owns Attack, but he's taking pride in what they're representing out there. So, I presented this project to Yamaha earlier this year. I told them that I'd be more than happy to invest in extra gear for Bobby. I gave them the design. I said, this is the design that we're thinking about. This is what we'd like to do, everything like that. And it took a little bit of time and momentum, but once they kind of, bought into it and they were able to get Attack to buy into it and pretty much everybody buy into it, like it snowballed really quickly and it became something special. And we were able to line it up to get it to Laguna Seca. And the execution was incredible, man. Everything came together. The team looked amazing. And every time that I tuned into Motor America, whether it was on the grid walk or it was on the after show or even during the race, they would constantly mention like how this color scheme, this entire getup just, stood out from everything else. And I think every other team in the paddock should take a cue from them and pick one or two rounds and change the colors for just one or two rounds. Do something special, even if it's just for the race on Sunday. Try to do something special. Try to keep it lively because it does engage the fans as well. Like as a fan, it's cool to see something different than I see every single weekend.
Right.
And even on the merch side,
Hang on one second. It was cool to see the team as well, and I'm gonna try to queue up a photo of the team in their uniforms as well because the whole thing was dope. So I'm sorry to cut you off, but go ahead.
yeah. No, and even on the fan side, I look at this as an opportunity for Yamaha to sell these T-shirts. Like they were selling these shirts at the Yamaha kit, and they were selling really well. People like this scheme, so it's just something that hopefully other teams will do and other teams will consider going into next year. And a couple of just one or two select events, do something different, man. Shake it up, make it exciting.
Yeah, no, I agree. And then let's talk about it. I mean, Bobby was able to not Bobby, I'm sorry, JD was able to come away 1 and 2. That's pretty dope as well. So let's talk about what Yamaha was able to do with 1 and 2. We'll start with TJ, and then we'll go to Lewis, and then to Reese last since he's on the team.
I mean, what they were able to do, getting more points and getting ahead and trying to get that championship. JD's looking really well. He's getting really comfortable on the bike.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Bobby, first race, I think he got 9th and then or 7th. Then he moved up a couple spots, second race. So they're definitely looking good. I think having that shakeup, like you said, look going forward to the next round just puts them in a good position to fight for the championship. It's going to be between obviously Schultz, Shonda and Kelly, and right now JD Beach. So it's going to be tight, but I think it's a good stepping stone this past weekend to finish, or JD to finish first both races as well.
Nice. Lewis, what are your thoughts, man? I mean, your Dainese didn't get on the box, but your colors did. What are your thoughts seeing that, and especially after the last round, where those guys were?
Bittersweet. It's bittersweet. I mean, I'm happy for Yama. I'm happy for the team in general. It was great to see my colors there. They were just on the wrong gear. I'm a competitive guy, just like these races are competitive, and I was really hoping that Bobby could get on the box as well. But he was super competitive, and we'll go into some issues that some riders in general had on another topic, but we'll get to it because this weekend a lot of people had a lot of issues, technical problems and shared problems. But I'm glad that the team was able to get on the box, man. It was cool to see them get on the box. And JD, he had a great weekend at the Ridge in the rain. And a lot of people say, oh, well, he's a rain specialist. They kind of dismissed him, not a little bit. I mean, we know he's a talented guy, but, all right, he won on the rain. He's a rain specialist. Let's see what he can do on the dry. And coming into this weekend, most people probably didn't have him on the bingo card as winning both races.
Right.
Like a lot of people coming into this weekend, we're talking about SDK. A lot of people coming into this weekend, we're talking about Matthew Schultz. A lot of people this weekend are talking about PJ Jacobson. And, JD just put his head down and said, yeah, keep talking about those other people, man. I'm going to drop a double on you.
Yeah. And he sure did. Reese, man, you got Lewis upset with you because, Bobby didn't get there. Talk about the weekend. I looking at JD, he reminds me of Bobby last year. Coming to the factory team in the first year and being able to, have an opportunity to fight for the championship. We got 4 rounds left, physical rounds left, but still a lot of racing to go with the triple race weekends that are coming up and stuff like that. Let's talk about the weekend and how it was able to pull it off. You guys were able to pull it off.
I mean, just like Lewis said, I mean, a lot of people does have JD counted out, or like they have it just where it's Sean, Dylan, Kelly, and Matt. And I'm sitting here looking at the points, and I'm looking at. I'll even say this right now: the riders 1 through 5 still have an opportunity to actually win this championship.
Yep.
They're very close in points, and JD will tell you this: points don't mean anything until we get to Jersey's round. It means absolutely nothing. But a lot of people counted him out. A lot of people had, just the 2 guys. They still count Bobby out. I don't even count Bobby out. Bobby's still sitting there. You got 2 rounds that are triple headers, and that's 75 points up for grabs. And a lot of people don't understand and remember. And I remember because me and JD go way back. And when I started in 2014 with the factory Yamaha team when it was factory. And JD came on to the super sport side. I think it was 2016, and it was him and Garrett, and JD came in and dominated on that super sport category, and he won. And I was the same thing with him, running with him, and he's dominated. He's won 2 super sport championships and dominated. And if you go back and look at what he's accomplished in the super sport category, he was actually one of the rare breeds or one of the rare riders to run a super bike time on a super sport. Right. And then going back to super stock class, he was down, I think 30 some points to come back and lead, then to lose to Andrew Lee because of a bike issue. And I think it was at Mid Ohio, and still only lost by 1 point. So you got to remember, it ain't over till it's over. Like, yeah, it looks great and things are going crazy right now, but I mean, we're down 11 points, and Sean's sitting in first, JD's sitting in second, where Matt is now dropped down to third. As y'all can see, anything can happen. You know, one race, like Lewis said at the weekend, one race can swing the whole series.
Right,
Well, look
right.
what happened last year. Look what happened last year, especially at Jersey. Going into the weekend, Bobby Fong basically had it locked up. Josh Herron was technically trying to fight for the championship, and then it ended up that Cameron Bouvier won it at the end.
TJ, man, if you didn't know Reese was there, I think he just opened up some wounds for that guy.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know he didn't mention it, but
It's all good.
He didn't mention that track. It's redemption year. It's redemption year.
Hey man, we'll get redemption this year. We trying to get the redemption.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, Reese. As far as the points, anything can happen. So let's talk about what didn't happen. Cam got pole position. He was able to put it on the podium for race 2, right? Race 1 and 2, who's on the podium? I don't know. I got so much has happened. What's happening with Ducati? Because they seem to struggle a little bit, and what's going on with Matthew Schultz as well seems to be struggling. It seems like this was the weekend for the Yamaha factory and the other 5 riders who are the closest in the championship, not counting any other riders saying they can't come back and do something. We start with TJ, man. What did you notice with these other 3 riders this weekend? Obviously, PJ not staying on the bike.
I mean, I feel like they should be doing better, but I think they're doing okay. They are, top 10. Benjamin Smith, Lawrence Baz. I mean, I think they should be fighting a little stronger. PJ should definitely be setting more of an example. Like, he needs to stay up. I don't want him to be like the Juwan Mir out there. I mean, like, he's always running out front, but can't seem to put all the laps together. I don't know if he gets tired or, lose focus at the end. But he definitely needs to help his team out a little more. But Cam Peterson's definitely kind of been holding it down a little bit. I know he has trouble with his wrist injury, but he did get on the podium both races.
Yep, I was just going to correct myself. Both races, he did get second place.
So that is good to at least, be closer to the first. Like, he could have had a chance to get past JD Beach, but he was just too strong. But I just think the other guys can be doing a little better, especially PJ. It shouldn't just be Cam, should be Cam and PJ up there.
Right.
But yeah, I think Ducati guys should do a little bit better than they are right now.
Right. What are your thoughts, Lewis, on that? I do think the Ducati guys got to be doing better. I mean, Lois Baz is filling in. It's a new V4. Benjamin Smith again. But it seems, we all want to get on a podium, but we don't want to get on a podium when other people are crashing out. We want to beat you straight up. So what are your thoughts, man, on what you're seeing out there and the struggles? And now's the time, I guess you can talk about some of the other things that were causing these riders to suffer a little bit on the track.
Well, I mean, let's talk about getting on the podium. If you crash out and don't get on the podium, I'm not going to feel bad that I got on the podium. Like, I'm not losing any sleep. You lost that spot. I didn't necessarily gain it. I didn't pass you to get it, but I did pass you because when you were sitting in the dirt, I went right past you. So that's a you problem. That's not a me problem. I think you and I were actually in the media center watching the race, and 3 laps before PJ Jacobson chucked it into the woods. What did I tell you?
You're going to crash. You're going to chuck it.
You're going to chuck it. Because you can literally see when somebody is pushing a bike further than the bike wants to go.
Yeah.
And that's what he's doing. He's overriding the bike. He's getting in his head. If you were to talk to him and they've interviewed him, and again, this is one of the things I don't like about these interviews, because when you put a camera in somebody's face and interview them, they're going to say the right things because they have media training. If they're even somewhat confident as a racer, they have some media training. Don't say this, don't say that, blah, blah, blah. But when you listen to them and the camera's not there, they're a little bit more candid with some of the issues.
Come on,
the
Steve,
one person
what are you talking about?
The one person that wasn't candid about the issues, that actually was very, very honest, is this entire weekend, a lot of guys had shit tires. A lot of guys. The only person that openly, publicly criticized it was Josh Herron, because you saw his struggles in the race in Supersport where he pretty much said, I had no tire. I had no tire. And one of the things that the public doesn't know is if you look at the Dunlop truck and you look at date on most of the tires that they're giving these riders, the date says 2024. Now, I'm not great at math, even for being the numbers guy, but we are in 2026. So you're giving me tires that have been sitting in the warehouse for 2 years, and then you're surprised that some of these riders are having problems where they're losing grip. The tire is giving them bad feedback, that they're getting shaking in the front end. They're getting bad drives out of the rear end, that the tire is spinning on the rim. Like a tire's not supposed to spin on the rim. Once it's on the rim, it's supposed to have enough adhesion to hold in place. If a tire's spinning on the rim, one, that's not great because you're losing forward momentum. You're going to get all kinds of vibration and feedback through the bike. Your traction control is going to be going crazy and you're going to be losing drive. And there's a lot of guys this weekend that had these problems, and you saw it in the times. There were guys riding this year at the same track that last year they were going 2 seconds faster.
Mm.
And as far as I know, I don't think they forgot how to ride. I don't think they forgot how apexes work. I don't think the bikes got any slower. So what's the difference? The difference is last year, the tires were 1 year old. And this year, the tires are 2 years old. Last year, they were the tires at the top of the pile. This year, they're the tires that were at the bottom of the pile. They've been sitting with 5 other tires or 10 other tires on top of them, deforming them for 2 years. The fact that, this isn't being addressed is crazy to me. Like, I understand Dunlop doesn't make tires in the U.S. anymore. Okay, cool. I understand. You got a warehouse full of tires. You got to sell them to somebody. You're going to sell them to the number one race, the only real racing series we have. You're going to sell it to these guys? You're going to put these old tires on their bikes so you can get rid of them because they have to use these tires because that's the spec tire for the series. So they don't have another option. If next weekend we showed up with a Pirelli truck, me and you, and they said, hey, you guys can buy Dunlops or Pirelli, you and I would sell out that 18-foot or that 40-foot container of Pirellis like that.
Change the rules.
I'm like, if the tire manufacturer, the tire supplier, and I blame Motor America for this, because it should be contractually obligated that you can't provide our riders tires that are older than this amount of time. Period.
I hear you.
But since they don't have that in the rules and they're able to provide them anything that falls within the spec, they're providing 2-year-old tires. And we saw it. Matthew had problems with it, but he wasn't vocal about it. Bobby had problems with it. He wasn't vocal about it. Several other riders, as I went around the paddock, all had problems with it. SDK had mentioned to his team that he was having some issues with the tires. At least Josh Herron, I give him credit for this. He put the mic in his mouth, and he said, yo, tire shit.
Okay, all right, no doubt. Well, Reese, I don't have a device to change your voice.
Put him on the spot.
That was good, man. What is it about you heard Lewis talk about the Dunlop tires. We know your guy JD is a flat track guy. Seems like those tires was good for flat track sliding from what Lewis is saying. What can you confirm or deny, or you just say you love Motor America and you love Dunlop and we move on?
I don't know about all that, but I can say that there was some tire spin. I mean, you do see it when we get the bikes back. You'll have the line on the rim, the line on the tire, and it's way over here. You're like, Jesus Christ, this tire didn't spin. So I can say that. I didn't see a lot of wear issues. Like when I'm looking at the tires, and I'm a tire guy, so I didn't see a lot of wear issues. Sometimes we will get some hoppage in the tire. You're looking at it like, okay, this tire got a lot of hop in it as they mount it. And Lewis we are getting 2-year-old tires, and I'm like, okay, can we get some new tires? But like you said, I think they're just going through the warehouse trying to escape and get everything out. I know they're supposed to go to the full Euro spec Japan tire next year. So hopefully next year we do see it and it becomes a better, tire spec, because this tire spec we have in it does have its issues.
Right. I mean, is there workaround other than you just using the tires and you just praying that you don't get the bad tires? Is there something that's like visual, noticeable, or you don't know until you start spinning laps?
No, I mean, you really don't know kind of till you start spinning laps. But you got I gotta check, make sure there's not no hops in there, that everything was beaded up right. Did they get a spin on it? Are they wearing right when they come off? Check it when it comes. But we're also, we're just hoping that it's a good tire. We're just hoping. We got to set the pressures to a certain, level. We try to see what the data is and see what it comes off on a cool day, a hot day. Try to set it at the right temp. See what the actual core of the tire is getting when it comes off while it's out there on the track, to see what it's actually going up the temperature at, and set it right around there so they can kind of get the maximum grip as possible they can for it. So we try to do our best with what we got.
Right. Let me ask this before we move on to Super Sport class. How you guys feeling going into Mid Ohio?
We feel great. I mean, I called JD today. He feels great. Lewis did say it. We're going into, and I said it before, and I think I said it to you too. Don't count anybody out. But we're going into tracks that do benefit the Yamahas, benefit the other bikes. Where the bigger bikes can't use their legs a lot, except for Coda, like Mid Ohio, VIR, or Jersey. We're going into those tracks. So let's see what we can do. I mean, and see if we can take it. And think, luckily, like the two tracks that are smaller tracks, those are triple headers. So that's 75 points right there.
Right. It's like big people on the merry-go-round. It's not
That's it.
Let's talk about Super Sport. It was crazy to see. We talked about in the live, what does Bender has to do to separate himself? Is a time where he's going to start separating himself from the rest of the gang? It seemed like it in race one. He seemed like, okay, yeah, I know who I am. I know this is the track I've spent a lot of time on. He even said he spent a lot of hours on a video game or a sim on this track. What are your thoughts, TJ, on in race one? Obviously, he crashed out, ran off the track, and crashed out race two. But he looks like he might be hard to beat. And also the second part of that, TJ and the rest of the guys, Heron calling out the other riders like, I can't win this by myself, kind of thing. Is that fair? Or is it just in the moment talking?
No, that's not fair. Like, no one's trying to help Josh Heron win the championship. So, I mean, obviously, Darren Bender.
More so to fight with Bender, not necessarily help him win.
Yeah.
But it'd be nice to have another bike up here, mix it up.
Josh Hayes is hanging around and Kayla's hanging around. So we got some people up there. But, I think Bender is definitely figuring it out. I honestly think it does help when there's a racetrack on a video game, especially if you play video games. You can definitely get a better understanding than like a little YouTube video or such. But you still got to go out there and perform. Darren Bender is definitely figuring it out for him to get, first place, his first race out there. That's pretty impressive. Past Josh Heron and Kayla. But it also was cool that Ducati locked out the podium first race. I mean, second race, I think it was more of situation. I felt like him and Josh Heron were battling, and then he had a bad runoff,
Yeah,
and then trying to play catch up. That does a lot. And going into turn one, he's probably trying to give it too much and just jam on the brakes to get a good drive out to 2 and 3, and he lost it. A couple of riders lost it, like Caleb. Crashing turn one as well. And I don't know what the cars are doing to Laguna Seca, but it seemed like a lot of the bikes had a lot of chatter on the front wheels going into a lot of the corners. But obviously, all the riders pretty much rode around it. But
right. Okay, no, that's what's up. What are your thoughts, Lewis, man, on race one? What Bender was able to do? What Josh is saying, and we got four more rounds left, but still a lot of racing.
I think for somebody that is competing at the front, that has been a champion and that in the past has gotten in the way of other people winning championships himself, and has also complained about people that are irrelevant to the championship injecting themselves into the championship.
Mm-hmm.
It's what's that word I'm looking? It's some bullshit for him to ask his teammates to try to inject themselves to help him win a championship. Because in the past he was the guy that was complaining that people were injecting themselves to keep him from winning a championship.
Right.
So you can't be on both sides of the argument, my man. You can't be saying, this team has two guys out there fighting against me to try to help this guy beat me in the championship. And now you're saying, it'd be great if my two teammates that are in the same class as me could do something to stop this other guy that's kind of beating my ass at tracks that I'm supposed to be better at. And he just showed up yesterday.
Right.
Well,
I mean,
not a fan.
Is it the type of thing that, he should have said privately to the other riders? Is it motivation for the other riders?
Is him putting pressure on them in the public, man. Like, that's his MO, man. Because I'm sure he said it to them in private. But, my man, DeMario's a rookie. It's his first year on his bike. He just got his first podium this weekend. He's super excited and everything else that he just got his first podium this weekend. And right after he gets his podium, you're like, it should be great if this slow mofo right here could get some more of these, maybe get in front of this dude, maybe do something to help me with points.
He was talking more Kayla than DeMario, I would say, but
he said both his teammates
to clean it up. I thought he was trying to clean it up after, because he was just like, and he's like, not to say she's not fast. So.
But you know what? I give Kayla her flowers. She's doing great. But I had this conversation with somebody. Take the Ducati that right now we know is the most dominant sport bike in that class. Put her on another bike. Or put somebody else that I believe is more talented than her on that bike and watch them smoke her, bro.
Right.
So this is a little bit of, but again, this is Josh Herron putting pressure on these young kids that are getting fast. They're getting fast, man. Kayla's getting faster and faster, and DeMario's finally starting to come together with the bike and get faster. Don't put pressure on these kids, man. You've been in this class for a long time. Put pressure on yourself. You're the one that's trying to win the championship. Don't try to put pressure on them to help you win a championship. I don't know, man. I've been, in a lot of battles. I've never looked and said, hey, man, do this favor for me. If they can help, great, they can help. But don't try to put pressure on them, man. These kids are trying to cut their own bones and get good at this sport. And really what you're trying to tell them is, admit one or two things. You don't have the talent to beat them heads up. You want to admit that? Or you want to put this pressure on these kids because you don't have the talent to beat them heads up? Because realistically, man, you're kind of getting smoked by a dude that literally just saw the track last week.
Well, I mean, in all fairness, he did stand up tall in race 2, but he did. And he had to make Darren made a mistake, and he might have caught the bait. But yeah, no, for sure. Let's go to Reese, man. Reese, what are your thoughts on race 1 and 2? What Bender was able to do, what he's doing? Is he starting to pull away? Is it matter of more just mind games? What are your thoughts on Heron's comment? I don't know if you were hearing it because you were too busy probably preparing for a race or celebrating from winning. So what do you hear?
I mean, not Heron. What Bender is doing is actually great. I mean, he's coming into America for the first time on these tracks, first time on these bikes, first time on the biggest factor on these tires and these forks, suspensions, all different for him. A lot of things are different. And he's doing very well. So it's very impressive to see what he's actually doing. For what Heron kind of complained about, I mean, I do agree with Lewis. I mean, you've been on these tracks longer than anybody, especially California. That's you. You got to step up and beat it. We said it before. We said it. We'll say it again. This was actually your series to lose. It was actually your thing to lose. So if you're going to lose it or you're going to win it, you're going to win it on your own. You got to win it by yourself. Nobody should be helping you. yeah, it's nice to see the other team, the younger guys get up there and battle and everything else, but it's all on you, man. This is all on you. And Kayla's doing her best. She's doing very well. You know what I mean? So she has to do it. The Mario's coming along. Josh is up there. So it's coming along, but you have to do it yourself. This isn't a team sport. This is just you.
Right. And
Man versus machine.
And you think that kind of calling out a teammate in on the media versus in private was also a bad look?
It is. It's a little bad look. It shows a little bit of weakness on your part to me, as someone coming up in sports, and you can call me out for it. You can say what you want, but playing sports, the basketball, going from college to overseas, I'm trying to come chop your head off myself. I'm like, right. We can be friends, we can be all that after the game, but once that ball goes up, I'm trying to win. I'm trying to do my best to win. So in his case, I get it. He's doing his best, but that's, again, this isn't a team sport. This is man versus machine. This is you.
All right. I agree.
And remember, this is a guy that was demoted from Superbike. I mean, he wasn't demoted from Superbike. He couldn't find a ride in Superbike. He went to Supersport. This is a two-time or multi-time Superbike champion. And you're moving to a sport bike. You're the elder statesman. You have the most, outside of Josh Hayes, who's also in that, racing in the lower classes. I mean, those two guys combined probably have the most experience of all the riders in either one of the classes they race in.
Well over 50 years of racing between both of them.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you have better equipment. You're on the best team, more or less. And you shouldn't have to ask people for your help. The only people you should be asking for your help is your mechanics, your chassis engineer, your team within the paddock. Shouldn't rely. You want to get a superbike ride, and you can't win a super sport championship on the best bike with all the experience you have against a guy that is his first year here. Maybe this is the reason you don't have a superbike ride.
All right. I mean,
you have one of the best. I think he's the manager. You have Ray Hall is well funded, and you have one of the best managers on the planet, Ben Spies. Yeah. So, what are we doing?
Okay, all right. I mean, I agree. I mean, is it so? And I'm going to put it out there. You're saying that we're saying all these things about Darren Bender. I also want to talk about DeMario's getting on the podium as well. But we saw all these things about Bender. But is it the European guys, the former MotoGP, Moto2, World Superbike guys? Are they just a little bit faster when they get to learn the American tracks?
I think in general we shouldn't demote the talent that we have here. We have incredible talent here in the U.S. I think the mentality that I've seen from European riders when they get to the track versus the mentality that American riders when they get to the track is much different at a much earlier age. So they age and their mentality when they go to a track is completely different. In Europe, during pit out for the warm-up lap, dudes are already knee down, elbow down. They come out of the garage and they're already set to 100. There's not a 92 button. There's not an 87 button. There's a 100 button. They're going to go out there. They're going to know what they need to do before they get on the track. They already look at these track maps. They already have all this data. They seem to go out there a lot more prepared, even on tracks that they don't know. And when you're fast, and I've said this a million times, if you're truly fast, you can go to any track and be truly fast within 2 sessions.
Mm-hmm.
That's what fast is. Yeah. Quick is you go to any track and you're quick, but you ain't fast. You fast at this other track that you know. Yeah. When you fast, even if you don't know the track, you're going to get fast. That's fast.
Okay. All right.
And Darren Bender has talent, and he can go to any track, and within 1 or 2 sessions, he'll be up to speed with guys that have been racing at that track for 15 years.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And there is one thing that Richard did say, and there's a difference between the European riders and the American riders, and you can see it when it's Sean Dillon Kelly, you can see it in Cameron Brobier, You can especially see it in Garrett Gerloff. The European riders are more aggressive. They ride aggressive. Elbows down, knees down. They're riding. They're getting off the bike. Their head is touching the ground. They are exaggerating the turn. They're in it. They are aggressive. That is the biggest factor that anything right there, that they are aggressive. Like you can see our riders, they're kind of upright. They're not as aggressive when they're in the corners. Cameron came back. Sean came back. They're aggressive. They're coming in the corners. They're not, if they have a little bit of space, they're coming in it. They're like, I can make this.
If you could fit a credit card, I could fit this whole bike.
Yep.
Love it. Love it.
Man, we see it in SDK. He's squeezing in, knocking people off.
Yo,
But you know
off the
what?
track, but he's getting in. He's being aggressive.
Every time he squeezes it in on Matt, I just think that somewhere PJ Jacobson is just giggling. Because he's like, he's done that to me a million times. Finally, he's getting some of his own medicine.
Yeah, no doubt. I can see that. Speaking of medicine, let's go to World Superbike and then we'll go to Moto GP. Ika was able to get one, and he got one fair and square. Looked like he would have had the same weekend like Bender, but I think got a little bit excited as well. What are your thoughts, TJ, on what Ika did? I mean, Lewis said he was never going to do it unless Buliga crashed out. I got it on film. I'm going to play it on my ringtone. What are your thoughts on what Ika did in World Superbike, man?
Ika is definitely having a good year. Obviously, he's finished second a lot, but I think he caught Buliga sleeping a little bit. No, he tried really hard. If any race that he can get, it had to be race one. So I think he did very well. He rode his ass off. He basically jumped out to the front from the beginning and held the position. I think him and Buliga kind of went back and forth just slightly here and there. Mm-hmm. But it was still a dogfight for him to win that race. But he pulled it out. So I give it to him. He broke the streak for Buliga. I really thought Buliga would probably, win every race this year, just the way things were going. But he got one.
Okay.
He wasn't able to get race 2 or the Super Bowl, but
he was leading race 2 and he was leading the Super Bowl and crashed out.
I know.
And because of that crash, he had to start 10 and finish second in the race. I mean, I believed he would have cleaned up this weekend if he didn't get a little bit excited. Man, first time you get out there and do something excited, it's something like that. It's hard not to be excited right after, for sure.
I agree with you on that. Sorry, I agree with you on that because the Super Bowl definitely changed a lot. In your grid position for the final race. So yeah. I mean, if he didn't crash out, he probably would have had a better chance. So I agree with you on that.
Yeah, I no doubt. Lewis, man, you heard what I said, but you said it. I mean,
I think that was artificial intelligence, man. I think you got edited video.
It's possible.
No, I said it, and I stand by it. I really thought that Buliga was gonna really clean up. I didn't think that Ika was going to be able to put the battle on him that he put on him in that particular race at Silverstone. That was good, man. That last couple of laps, man, that was probably the best 4 or 5 laps at leading a World Superbike since Top Rack left. Yeah. Like it was back and forth, and it felt like they were on even playing field.
Yeah, Donington Park, but nonetheless, same country.
Hey, Donington Park, sorry. Yeah, same country.
Yeah.
Fish and chips.
I would say this, right? I would say this. I know I said he was going to win one because he's a motivated dude, but I think he got the win because Alex Marquez got hurt and he got to come to GP and saw what he was able to do at GP. And I think that says, yo, man, what am I doing? I got to let us up.
Something lit the fire under him, man, because this past weekend, he really had something going. I don't know if it's the track. I don't know if he felt good. If he got a vitamin B12 shot Friday night and it gave him some extra energy. Whatever he did, he needs to replicate it because, unfortunately, to beat Buliga, if Buliga doesn't beat himself, that's how you need to ride, man. Yeah. You need to ride the wheels off a tire to beat Buliga. And, look what happened the next day. He crashed. It messed up his grid position. So he lost the sprint race, or the Super Bowl race. Then, because of the bad grid position, Bulaga did his peace. All right. And by the time he got to second place, Bulaga was a country mile down the road.
Right.
If it wasn't for that, I think they would have separated themselves from position 3 and down, and we would have seen another 8 or 9 lap 2-person battle right to the end.
Right. No,
And I hope I keep seeing that, because I want that to happen, because World Superbike, as much as I love it, was getting a little boring watching some dude ride his own race and then everybody else ride a different race, man.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Reese, what are your thoughts, man, on what Eco is able to do? What about the laps that they were doing in the first race? Because the same thing, man. The passing back and forth. I have to say, that was one of Eco's best race that I've seen since like Moto 2 in a while. What are your thoughts, man?
I mean, from what I saw the highlights. I didn't really get a chance to see the whole race because we were out. But from what I did see in the highlights, I mean, it was looking impressive race, and what Ika did was very impressive to finally get ahead of Bulaga, and step out. And like you said, if he didn't crash for that Super Bowl, he would have put himself in a good position again. So, I mean, he has to ride. Unfortunately, you got to ride like that the rest of the season. Yeah, I mean, I think the championship is kind of far from gone, but to make it more of exciting for the fans, you got to ride like this and tell the fans, hey, I'm here. Because, you do have a whole new generation, the MotoGP riders that are leaving and coming over to World Superbike. So you got to, make sure you put on a show so people will tune in next year to see what you got.
Right. Let me ask this before we talk about the Kawi and the Bitmoto guys. If Ika can, beat Bulaga more races than not by the end of the season, should MotoGP come calling for this guy? Or does he have to do a full season in World Superbike on the duck or win a championship for them to come calling him back? Let's start with TJ.
Ika going back? Calling him back?
Yeah, to MotoGP. I mean, he rode well on that Gresini Ducati.
I mean, he did go on a really good bike. I mean, if you went to ride a Honda or the Yamaha for like Fabio or something, it would be a different story. But I think he got to prove himself a little more. Okay. Probably World Superbike, win more races and probably be like second in the championship or probably win one. But the way the seats are, even in the MotoGP, so that's tough to even get back over there. So I don't think he would be invited that soon. I think he'll have to earn it more.
Maybe end of 2027. Lewis, man, what are your thoughts, man? I mean, Raul looked like he's saving his seat in MotoGP. You said this is the day of a lot of things you said that might not happen. Looks like he's going to stay in MotoGP. Does Ika gotta win this year, next year to get back to MotoGP, or is that kind of like that road is gone?
I think that ship has sailed, man. I had a good weekend for a one-off wild card on a really good bike. But I think that ship has sailed, man. Once you leave the GP paddock, getting back into it is not the easiest task, especially with all the young talent that's available in Moto 2, that's available that can do more or less the same things you do at a discounted rate. Because a Moto 2 kid is going to be so happy to get a GP ride that he'll take it for 150, 180,000. Whereas a guy that's already in World Superbike making 200, 250, 300,000 is not going to want to take a pay cut to go back to MotoGP. They're going to want either the same or more to go to GP. So yeah, man, once you leave the GP paddock, man, it's hard, man. I think he has an incredible opportunity to stay with the Ducati team when Bulaga leaves, to make that team his team and to possibly get some championships. Because there's no embarrassment in being in World Superbike and winning some championships. There's a lot of money to be made there. You can make a great career. I look at some of the World Superbike staples. You look at your Jonathan Ray, you look at your Troy Baylesses, you look at all these people that made Lord, all these people that made World Superbike their home, even Max Biaggi, when he left MotoGP, went to World Superbike, he made it his home. And you can make a ton of money, make a ton of fans, still be in the limelight, still be competitive, racing on equipment that doesn't require you to be at the sharpest edge. You can still be, you can be a little bit of a dull knife and still be very competitive. You're on the right team. I mean, what's his name? Super hairy dude that like looks like he's wearing a hair sweater all the time. Petrucci.
I was just gonna say
Like,
that.
look at him, bro. the hairiest man in road racing. He's still road racing, even though he's not super competitive, but he still gets a job. He still collects a check.
Yeah, well, BMW's not picking up his 27 option, so
I wonder why.
Who knows? He broke himself up a few times. Reese, what are your thoughts, man, on Ika? And should we just move on? Or I think there's a chance for him to get back to MotoGP.
I'm glad you have high hopes because I don't. I think, like you said, that ship has sailed. It is definitely hard to get back into that paddock. Once you leave, that's a tough. I mean, think about it as a crew chief, as an owner, as a manager. If you can hire somebody, same thing as any business. If I can hire somebody that can come in as a younger person, do the same thing you're doing for a cheaper price, why not?
Hey, man, there's a Frenchman named Johan Zarco that, said, hey, man, your bike is awful. Keep your money. Left MotoGP, picked up a couple of rides here and there. He got a Ducati seat, and then look at the man now years later. So it is possible.
It is possible. I'm never not saying it's not possible, but it is difficult. It is very, very difficult to come back. That's the problem.
We race motorcycles. We know what that means.
Yeah. Trust me, I see the business end on this end, and if I could take somebody that's going to be cheaper, that does the same, that's going to give me the same results as you, I'm going to go with the cheaper guy.
Okay, all right, so there you go. He could just got to, take a little haircut.
He got to get the top. He got to move the decimal point over.
You go. I only want a decimal point to move in one direction for me.
Yeah.
Keep going that way. All right, guys. Let's talk about Kawi and Bimoto. I think they look really good outside of the two factory guys and Yeri Montella on the Ducati. It's nice to see another manufacturer up there that's chopping it up with Ducatis and not just letting them. I mean, granted, the factory guys are kind of walking away with it. But what are your thoughts seeing, Lowe's and Bassani battling, and then Gerloff as well? He got another year on his contract, and that putting that Ducati in the top 8. I'm the Ducati Kawasaki in the top 8. What are your thoughts, TJ?
I think the battle was pretty cool, but also at the end of the day, I think they did exactly what they're supposed to do. Looks like they had the right setup, and they kind of finished, together. When teammates finish right after each other, they kind of had a good race. I feel. Besides, someone being over talented and having a different result. But, all 3 races, they basically stuck together. The last race, they're all close to getting to the podium, one of the guys, 3rd place. But I thought they rode really well, getting a top 10. So, yeah, I mean, I think they've definitely been improving. And I think it's good that Garrett, got another season under his belt coming up. So, stay focused on the task. And the big motor guys, as long as, they stay up too, like at Lowe's, always going down. But
right. Yeah, no doubt. Sorry to cut you off there. I'm so quick with the button. Reese, man, what are your thoughts? Did Gerloff send you a message about this weekend? Did he have a little bit of extra vinegar? He looked comfortable out there. Looked like he was having fun. What are your thoughts on Kawi and the Bimoto guys?
No, I mean, I didn't talk to Garrett, a little bit, but I know watching him, and he's actually come along very well on that Kawi. He's doing some impressive things, from where he was to where he's now. So, commend out to him. Hopefully he can build on that momentum, and the team can build, and they can put it, up on a podium, up on a box. Because it'd be nice to see another American on the box, especially a kid like Garrett. And what Bimota's doing, I mean, it is phenomenal because, I mean, we all know it's the Cowie engine, but, you know, a whole different frame, a whole different subframe, swing arm. But what they're doing with that bike, with Lowe's and them are doing with it, it is impressive. You know, it's coming along slowly but surely. You know, maybe in the different hands of another rider, a very more talented rider than Lowe's, or them, maybe putting it up well up there in the box, because it has shown and proven, and as we all know, that the Chinese are coming. You know, so it could be something different.
Right. Yeah. Lewis, man, what are your thoughts on Cowie and Bimota?
Bimoda, I keep being impressed by what that team's been able to put together with the chassis that they're using, combined with the Kawasaki motor. And even Kawasaki, I'm still surprised that they're staying competitive with a bike that's super long in the tooth. I know they made some updates for this year, so they changed the bike a little bit. There's some immediate updates that they could take advantage of. I still think the bike is a couple of steps behind the bikes at the front. Same as the Honda, you know, they're a couple of steps behind the Ducati that's at the front, that's at the cutting edge. But the fact that they're still racing, I give them a lot of credit, because there's not a lot of Japanese manufacturers in World Superbike that are even investing it. You know, Suzuki's not there. The R1 in Superbike is not a very relevant bike at the moment. Its struggles are massive. So for Kawasaki to still be in the top 10, and the Bimota being where in the position it's in, using a Kawasaki motor, tip a hat to them. You know, I wish the Bimota wasn't $50,000 or $100,000. I wish it was actual a consumer friendly bike that we could see on the street, because I think that would help them sell more bikes and bring more attention to their project. The fact that if you want to buy this Bimota, realistically, it's $50,000 for the base model, and close to $100,000 for the full out, you know, all bells and whistles model of the K bike that they're racing. Again, man, I hope we can see some continued evolution in Kawasaki, because I do want to see Garrett Gerloff continue to make some movement forward. And as good as a rider he is, he can't move forward unless the equipment that's underneath him gets some advances and get some movement and get some funding where they can kind of develop something to kind of get him to the next step. We saw him have some flashes of brilliance in a couple of tracks this year, but we don't want it at a couple of tracks, man. I'd like to see that on a more consistent basis across multiple tracks, multiple different types of layouts. We know the dude is talented. We want to have an American get on the box. And if it's going to be on a Cowie, if Cowie's not going to invest in it, you know, he's not going to get on the box on a regular basis.
Right. No, I hear you there. I hear you there. Can't wait to see what's going to happen. Looking forward to the next couple of rounds of World Superbike. But let's jump into MotoGP before we get out of here, guys, because you know, we're getting long in the tooth when it comes to time, as they say. MotoGP over in Sachsenring, in Germany. I haven't been. I would love to go. Looking forward to the day I do get to go. It's on my bucket list. When you look at qualifying over the weekend on Saturday, I mean, Marc Marquez was fast. It's his home track. He's not fully healthy, as enough will say. But guys, I mean, up to, you know, the top 7 guys were really fast in qualifying. I would even say Bez would even top 8. I mean, if Bez didn't hurt himself, broken collarbone, missed both races, I think, you know, it would have been very interesting to see the top 8 riders so close in time, which we didn't see at the beginning of the year, like we're seeing now. What are your thoughts, TJ, on qualifying? Obviously, it's Mark's track, but Alex Marquez was there. Digi, Morbidelli was there. Quartararo. I mean, he can't complain this weekend. The Yamaha was fast.
Yeah, no, they were all pulling out those times for sure. It was crazy to see, like in Q1, to have, even in Q1 there was guys pulling out those 19s. You know, so there's a lot of fast guys out there. It's pretty impressive. They were up to speed like that. I mean, Marc Marquez definitely, you know, pulling out the fastest time. So I think depending on where you are on the grid, like especially out front, you get a good start. I mean, just hanging off that bike, so many left turns, like, you know, you gotta be focused. But I think the top, what was it? The top 8 guys in Q2 all had around the same time, like you said.
Yeah,
So it could have been,
I'll say eight,
yeah, say, yeah.
seven. But
So anybody could have took pole. So I mean, they're all right there. Every manufacturer's pretty fast. Even Jawan Mir had a 19 up there. So I mean, but Mark Marquez just took over the race. Just mentally.
Right. No doubt, no doubt. What are your thoughts, Reese, man, on qualifying? I don't know how much you got to catch because you were working, but it's Marquez's track. I mean, he did a 19.041. His brother was right there behind him. Digia was right there. Fernandez, Agura. I'd probably say those guys were the closest as far as times to Marquez. Everybody else started to lose some time there. But what are your thoughts on what the man was able to do, and also what these other riders were kind of like? Hey, we're not that far behind you guys. This is your favorite track.
I mean, I think I did say that Marquez was going to win this round, and I think I did say that. I think I put him on the top podium and stuff. But what he was actually doing was actually great. To see him and his brother up there again, and just know that I honestly believe that Mark is putting is a great poker player, because they say he's not at 100% is kind of I don't know about that. I think he's maybe not at 100, but I would say about 95 or 90% that this kid is at. So to see what he did during the race is very impressive. Like, he ran away with it. To see what Alex did in qualifying was very impressive. Fernandez and Algora, I mean, it was all impressive to see these times and what they were running in the 19s. I did get a chance to watch it before we went to the track. Watched it in the morning. I actually got up to watch this stuff live, but it was actually impressive. It was something different to watch. To see that he is still the king of Sachsenring.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, he definitely. If there was any doubt before, there's no doubt now. Lewis, man, you heard the time.
Yeah,
we watched.
Definitely need to see those points.
We saw in real life. Hey, slow down, brother, slow down. Points are coming. We're almost out of time though, so I don't know if we're gonna get to it, but they coming. We're gonna get to it. You didn't pass me yet, Reese. So I'll just let you know that you're close. Louis, what are your thoughts, man, on what Mark did? How fast Agura, Fernandez, Digia, even Quattararo and Morbidelli. I mean, again with these penalties, but anyway.
This track, I mean, the fact that a lap there can be run in a minute 19 lets you know one thing really quickly. This is a small track. It's a very compact, small track. This is one of those couple of tracks where the Yamaha could take advantage of the fact that there's not long straightaways, so it's not a top speed issue. If they can use the corner speed, if they can get off the corner well, if they can use the handling of the R1, they can be very competitive here. So this was one of the tracks that I was actually hoping that Quattararo would finish even higher than he finished. Okay. Because it's one of the few opportunities he has between now and the end of the year at a track where top speed and long straightaways aren't necessarily a problem here. The only straightaway you have here is the main straightaway, and it's not that far. And then right after that, it's a concession of right-handers, long left-handers, long right-hander, long right-hander, long left-hander, another left-hander. Like it's a very flowy side of the tire grip and acceleration off the corner track when you can accelerate heavy off the corner. So I was actually hoping the Yamaha would do better. I wasn't surprised that the Ducatis were doing really well. I was surprised of who on the Aprilia was doing well. Like the fact that again, this is another weekend where the satellite team pretty much wiped the floor with the factory team. Mm-hmm. And take the crash of Bezecchi out of it. Even if he hadn't crashed, he would still get his ass handed to him by Agura and by Fernandez. Yeah. And Martin didn't crash, and he was getting his ass handed to him as well. So these two young, these young Thundercats on that Trackhouse team, they have nothing to lose, man. They're like, yo, we have no pressure on us. We're a satellite team. We're not the factory guys, and they're just going out there and they're crushing it for Aprilia right now. Like Aprilia right now should be like, oh man, we should have done whatever we could have done to keep Agura.
I agree.
That was a massive talent loss. I know they're going to replace him with somebody that's equally talented, but Guru is like, I'll take it from somebody that I was like, he's cooler than the other side of the pillow.
Mm.
And that's how he rides, man. He's cooler than the other side of the pillow. He's just chill as can be. Fernandez gets a little bit aggressive in some points, but then he chills out as well. And he realizes, hey, man, I can ride this ride just the way I'm riding it right now. Nobody's going to catch me. And there's a good chance I'm going to catch the guy in front of me.
Right.
The only problem...
I was gonna say, and they're like the perfect teammate because Agura is so chill, as you say, so cool with a K, and Raul's like probably like they have music blasting early in the morning, all day, all night, and ready to party. And I when you have two people that different, they can get along because they don't see each other in themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Their energy's offset.
Yeah.
If you got two guys that are always at 100%, man, that garage is not fun to be in because that's just too much energy. But if you got one dude that's at 100 and one dude that's 0, then really you're just managing 50. And it's chill. It's chill. They cancel each other out. But it says a lot that this team is doing as well as they can. I agree with Reese. I think Marc Marquez is playing some head games, but even if he's not, Marc Marquez is 85% is better than 95% of the grid at 100%.
Right.
So he's dangerous.
Yeah. I agree. It's these other guys, they can't make any mistakes. I mean, Marc Marquez is Roger Federer. He's Nadal. He's Djokovic. He's a Jordan. He's LeBron. Kobe.
Don't insult him by calling him LeBron. Don't insult him. He doesn't flop, bro.
Not so much. I won't even say the flop part. I'll just say like he went to a lot of game sevens and couldn't close out.
Yeah, but before we move on, I was super impressed by Alex because you got to remember, man, less than a month ago, Alex was in the hospital with a broken vertebrae in one of the most horrific crashes that I've seen in a minute. I mean, his Ducati broke into 7 million pieces. Mm-hmm. It looked like a SpaceX rocket returning from outer space and imploding on re-entry, man. And for him to be out there just a couple of weeks removed from having a neck brace and having this and having that, that's why these dudes are made out of something different, man. These guys ain't soccer players. There's no flopping here.
No, there's some of them try, but they get called to the principal's office like Morbidelli. But let's talk about we got the summer break. They got 3 weeks off. They get to recoup. They get to do all this re-energize and stuff like that. Let's talk about Martin, like what he has to do because he's struggling at the moment in the sense like he's not the fastest, not physically struggling. Is it more the fact that, hey, guy, you're leaving, there's some contention, we're just not giving you parts, you're not getting the latest updates anymore, and these young guys are getting the updates? What are your thoughts, TJ, on that? We can't even speak on Bez because he's hurt, so he has to get better and get on the bike. But what do you expect to see from Martin when he comes back? And is he kind of might be around 5th or 6th for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what they're doing with the parts. Like, Martin acting up sometimes, and then they gonna give it to Bez, and then Bez, slapping guys, so they trading off. But I don't know if they're just like, you know what, guys, we're just gonna give it to the satellite because you guys ain't getting it together. But yeah, I mean, I think he's in a good position. I mean, he understands what he has to do. Even if he doesn't have like the parts, like he rides really hard. I mean, he's basically staying top 5, Jorge Martin. So I don't know if he's still leading the championship just by a little, I believe. But yeah, I think going into the summer break, they just gotta focus on regrouping, coming back. Hopefully, Bez comes back strong as well. Because he's basically throwing his season away. They need to kind of work together and try to stop from Ducati trying to invade it on their title chasing. So
right, and I agree. I mean, I think Aprilia, even though they got the fast bike and the top riders, they kind of if they're not careful, as we say, Marc Marquez is coming. Reese, man, what are your thoughts on Martin? What's happening there? His struggles, is it just a one-off kind of thing? I believe he's been at fast at Sachsenring before. So you think it's just, they're kind of closing the chapter on him or it's just a bad weekend? Or it
could just be a bad...
Chasing the points too, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's chasing the points. I mean, it could just be a bad weekend. I don't think the chapter is closed. because at the end of the day, they still want to win the manufacturer's title. I mean, you got to look at Agora. Agora's leaving, and he's still fast. I don't think they're going to give him part. You know, he's checked out already. He's already gone. He already signed the contract. He's done. Same thing with Martin. And right now, Martin is your factory rider, the same way as Bezzecchi was when, you know, Martin was gone. You know, and right now, you know, Baz is out. So you got to put and rely your facts on Martin, because at the end of the day, you're a factory team. You don't want to see the factory team getting smoked by the satellite team. That's something I don't want to see. Right. You know, as a factory guy. So I mean, they're I don't think they cashed out yet.
Yeah, you saw Ducati fix that, right? They said now we can't let Digia and Alex Marquez be beating us, and you see what Mark is doing, and even Bagnaia looks stronger too.
Right. So I think at the end of the day, I mean, it's just a bad round, or they just happen to find the perfect setup for the two guys, and it worked. So I think that's just it. I think, you know, sitting on a summer break, time to regroup, time to refocus, you know, and figure this out. Go back to your mechanics, your team. Let's sit down. We'll talk about it. Let's fix this and let's move forward.
Right. Lewis, what do you think, man? You think Martin is not allowed in the Davio's side of the box anymore? It's like Martin.
I don't think the team is purposely doing anything, because you know, as much as there might be some grudges in the garage, and I'm sure there's some grudges, there's some moaning and some groaning when he's not around. I'm sure there's some mumbling under their breath. But there's also money involved here. These mechanics and everything else, they get bonuses based on the performance of the bike and performance of the rider. So it's not in their benefit to kind of screw him out of setting his bike up incorrectly or doing something like that. I don't know if it's Martin not being fully engaged at some of these events, at some of these tracks. Maybe he's feeling like, you know what, this isn't my weekend. I'm not going to push it. I'm not going to give it 100%. I mean, he is in the points lead right now. Not, you know, obviously he's a part of that. He's been competitive, but Bezzecchi kind of imploding in the last month and a half, and some other things happening have kind of put him in that position. Will he stay in that position? That's the $1 million question, man. You know, we got a couple of weeks for the summer break, and when they come back from the summer break, the first couple of races after the summer break, if you look historically, the guy that maintains or is able to gain the most amount of points in the first 3 or 4 races after the summer break, I think is like a 70-something% winning percentage of winning the championship. So let's see what happens after the first 3 or 4 rounds after the return, because he's not like he has an insurmountable lead. His lead is like paper thin.
Yeah.
You know, he's one crash or two bad finishes away from going from first to third, or possibly even fourth.
Mm-hmm.
So is that kind of razor thin margin that he has right now, and it's not going to take a lot for him to lose it. But if he puts his stuff together, he could pad that stat, and if he comes out of that 3-4 races with like a 30 or 40 point lead, we could start saying that he's got one hand on the championship.
Gotcha. Okay. Who do we expect to see the most from before we show the points? Who like, you know, let me phrase this a little bit better. Which rider needs to get off their ass the second part of the season if they want to try to win this title with the top 4 or 5 guys that are up there fighting right now?
Bezzecchi.
Yes.
Stop crashing.
Yes.
Nah, I think this summer break is going to do Bezzecchi a lot of good, man, because he needs a hard reset. Because he's been going from one round to another round to another round. And I always compare it to quicksand. The more you start to sink in quicksand, the more you start to struggle, the faster you start to sink in quicksand. Mm-hmm. And the only way to get out of it is, you know what? You stop struggling, man. Stop pushing the issues. Stop everything. Relax. Get somebody to help you out of the quicksand. Clean yourself off, start fresh. Because if you keep struggling in the quicksand, you're just going to keep sinking. So this summer break, even though he's going into it with a broken collarbone, 1, the summer break's going to help him a lot because he's going to be able to recover from the collarbone break. But 2, is going to help him do a hard reset. And within the first 3-4 races after the summer break, if we see a continuation of what we saw before the summer break, it's not going to get better.
Right.
If those 3 or 4 races, we see a different Bezzecchi, we see the Bezzecchi of the first 5-6 rounds of the first part of the season, now we got a race. Now we got Mark, we got Agura, we got Martin. We got a wide open championship again, man.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, we've been going for a little bit tonight, guys. I would talk about KTM and Honda and Yamaha in MotoGP, but we'll save it for after the summer break. Give those guys a chance to, get a little bit more competitive than the Aprilia and the Ducati right now. Let's bring up the points and let's see where we're at here. If I can even see this on my screen. What are we talking about? Oh, there we go. So those are the points of the last round. TJ got the most points at 58. Man, look at you guys. You guys did all right. I only got 46 points. I mean, did somebody paying somebody off here? How'd that happen? My guy Bezzecchi crashed out, so that killed a lot of points. And I was rolling with Fernandez and Agura, and obviously you guys are all rolling with Marquez. And so each of you guys got the 12 and 25, 12 and 25, 12 and 25. And when you get them kind of cards in your hand, it's not Uno, but it's hard to win. So what is the overall total points that we have? Oh, did I miss that? Did I not? Hang on, let me get back there. I need more screens. Oh, there we go. So 570. And I think if I'm reading that correctly, Reese, you're at 519, so you're in second place. Then TJ, then Lewis, man, you might have to get a hall pass or something to maybe give you like a double points weekend or something like that to get you doing a thing.
I mean, remember, I think I didn't bet in 2 rounds.
I think so.
So if you average it out at the way that I'm going, if you average in what I already have based on the rounds, I should be further up there, man.
I don't know if those numbers add up.
I think I need a mulligan. I'm gonna submit my paperwork to the FIM for review. I might have all your motors torn apart because I feel that you guys are breaking the concession rules.
Secretly working together. Every grievance that you can file, you're gonna file.
Dude, I'm everything, bro. I'm gonna file France grievances, Swedish grievances, Holland grievances, all the FIFA grievances are getting filed.
Right. No doubt. But it was a very exciting weekend. It was great to see MotoGP. It was some exciting racing. We didn't talk about Moto2. Moto2 was crazy. That was so much fun to watch. To see these guys battle till the end like that. And we talked about earlier with the the European riders being more aggressive, and we saw it. So it was some great racing this past weekend. Anything you want to touch on, guys, that we missed, or just want to get off your chest? Let's start with TJ before we get out of here.
Not really. I'm just we got a couple weeks to regroup, and just hoping. I'm actually excited for the second half of the season. Just how close the points are with all these riders, and just seeing Mark Marquez's journey as well, because now it's kind of like interesting to watch. You want to see what he can do and if he can pull it out, and hopefully Bezzecchi can pull it out, or Martin. So yeah, we're gonna have a good second half. So just looking forward to it.
I agree. I think we're gonna have a good second half. What are your thoughts, Reese, man? Anything you wanna get off your chest? You're mailing out a couple of shirts from this last weekend to myself.
I got one shirt. That's all I got. I got nothing. I mean, I just say, we'll see what happens, after summer break here in MotoGP. We got 2 weeks. We got Mid Ohio for Moto America, so that should be fun. I think World Superbike is another week or so.
Yep.
So it's we're coming down to the end of the, you know, as sad as it may say, it's you know, it's almost near the end, but it's getting ready to be, you know, hang on to your seats, see what we got.
It's wild, and I'll let you finish off, Lewis. But it was wild because, you know, when I first started this year to come to all the events, it was like 13 rounds, and that's a lot. And then it's coming back this past week, and I'm like, there's only 4 rounds left. Like, how did it and it was like, there's a little feeling of like, man, I don't want it to be over. What do you want to say before we get out of here, Lewis?
No, I just want to say that it is sad, man. Every time a season ends, I know there's going to be one more candle on my birthday cake. That's the first part that's sad. But then the second part is that is that long desert from September all the way back to next March when we see racing again. Like I wish there was a way we can kind of have 2 separate sport seasons, like 2 separate leagues, one that's the summer league and one that's the winter league, so we can see new tracks and hot locations. But you know, it's also what makes the sport, you know, brings the passion to the sport. Is it, you know, it comes to an end, and you can't miss something unless you can actually miss something. Because if you get it all the time, you never miss it. But when you miss it, you can't wait to get it back.
Right. It looks like I say the sunlight hitting your face. Look at you got this mustache going on the screen. I feel you there. I'm definitely looking forward to the rest of this season. But, you know, the Be Forever Cool podcast will be going all year round. So hopefully we'll come up with some entertaining things for folks to keep you entertained for the rest of the season. But it's just a summer break. We'll be back next Monday, and we'll be live in Mid-Ohio, chopping it up with you guys in the morning show. So exciting times. I want to thank all the listeners and subscribers, all the folks that are doing all the cool things and, you know, commenting and liking what we're doing and congratulating us and trying to keep us on our toes. Really appreciate it. Definitely check out BeForeverCool.com. Best way to find out what's going on and to connect with us. And, you know, check out the cool photos from all the Motor America rounds because they're definitely on the website. And it's a good way to find out how you can listen to the show on all the platforms. My name is Rex25. It's the Be Forever Cool podcast. I want to thank TJ with 2 Wheels and Coffee, Reese from Attack Yamaha, Louis Ortega, the numbers guy. Peace.
Peace.